You ever wake up expecting nothing but a regular day, and by sundown, your entire world's been torn up by a pack of power-hungry, pearl-wearing lunatics? Let me tell you, that's the day I found myself staring at bulldozers. Yes, bulldozers, smashing down my great-grandfather's barn, the one he built back in 1923 with nothing but sweat, prayer, and Montana grit. And who's standing right there, designer pearls gleaming, BMW keys dangling from her fingers. Brenda Castellano, president of the Shadow Creek HOA, queen of the subdivision, looking me dead in the eye and saying, "You're trespassing. You got 72 hours to get out." Let that sink in. My own family's land. 2,700 acres, worth more than most folks' wildest lottery dreams. For generations of white fields, just wiped off the map with the swing of a judge's pen and a smile from Brenda. All while I've been working 3 months straight out on a Denver construction site, just trying to pay the bills like anybody else. You want to know how this nightmare started? Shadow Creek HOA cooked up a $50,000 lien while I was away, held a secret vote, and sold my land to a shell company. Guess who owned the company? Brenda. I'm Owen Whitefield, by the way. Been a property title expert for a decade. I've helped folks save homes from greedy banks, oil companies, and all kinds of crooked developers. I know every trick in the book. And somehow, these people thought they'd just snatch my legacy. I drove up that winding dirt road, heart of my throat, half expecting it to be a bad dream, but it was all real. So I did what any Whitefield would do. I fought back, and I fought dirty, one loophole, one clause, one cold, hard fact at a time. See, this land means something. My great-grandfather Samuel earned it with a government grant, hacking through scrub, planting wheat, and building that barn I used to hide in as a kid. I still remember the smell, old timber and motor oil, while Grandpa fixed tractors and taught me that land's the only thing they ain't making more of. And when Grandma Estelle passed, she looked me in the eye, voice soft as spring rain, and said, "Don't you ever let them take our mountain." Every time I see her roses growing by the property line, I remember. But city folks don't care about legacy. In 1995, some hotshot developer dropped a grid of cookie-cutter McMansions just down the hill and, wouldn't you know it, sucked our homestead into their jurisdiction on a technicality. Grandma didn't want to fight. She was tired, 87, done with battles. So I set the HOA fees on auto-pay just to keep the peace. Enter Brenda Castellano. If you can picture a soccer mom crossed with a mob boss, you're halfway there. Weekly hair appointments, pearls that could pay your mortgage, a BMW with vanity plates. She clawed her way up by running every petty committee until she ran the board like a little kingdom. Trouble was, she'd run herself into $2.3 million in debt, casinos, bad real estate flips, and shopping habits she couldn't afford. And she was looking at my land like it was her golden parachute. While I was breaking my back on a bridge project in Denver, Brenda made her move. Certified letters, legal threats, environmental hazard, $50,000, pay now or face emergency remediation. All fiction. Her brother-in-law's law firm letterhead made it look real, but I could smell the scam through the envelope. Thing is, I'd done my homework. I've been researching my mineral rights for years. Turns out there's $47 million in natural gas sitting under my family's boots. Brenda knew it too. She saw me as some out-of-state construction grunt who'd roll over. She had no clue what I'd spent 10 years learning. Every single loophole in Montana property law. When I rolled up and saw that barn coming down, I knew exactly which legal grenades I was about to pull. Brenda thought she was the wolf. She didn't realize I'd been raised by wolves and taught to read the law like a hunting manual. The next 3 days, Brenda escalated. Emergency HOA meeting, fire hazard cleanup, assessment, $75,000. Glossy photos of dead timber she'd printed off the internet, claiming my mountain was about to ignite half the county. Even had the nerve to deliver the paperwork herself, perfume thick as fog, acting like she was doing me a favor. I just smiled, told her I'd check with my attorney. She tried to keep it neighborly, no need for lawyers. Yeah, right? That night, I spread every deed, survey, and legal case I'd collected across my dining room table. Coyotes howled in the distance. moonlight catching on old yellowed paper. My grandfather used to say, "The devil hides in the details, but so does salvation." He wasn't wrong. First red flag. Montana law requires 14 days notice for any HOA assessment over $1,000. Brenda's emergency meeting violated the sunshine laws. Second, my original homestead patent had federal protections, paperwork that made me nearly untouchable. Third, an environmental study from 2 years back proved my land was home to a protected grizzly bear corridor. Any development there? Automatic federal prosecution, fines, and jail time. I filed complaints, demanded a state-funded environmental survey. Every move documented, every box checked. Brenda's response? Hired private security, 2 high school buddies of mine, Jake and Danny. Paid them to watch my property. Jake just grinned and told me, "She's paying $20 an hour for me to report that your land's the cleanest in 3 counties." We had a laugh, and I started building my case. Other families started coming forward. Mrs. Tessa, the Hendersons, the Kowalskis, all squeezed out of gardens, swing sets, and flagpoles by Brenda's fake violations. She targeted the vulnerable, squeezed them with legal fees, forced them to sell, and bought up their homes through shell companies. Classic predator. But karma's a patient accountant. When the independent survey came back, it made my whole week. Not only was my land fire safe, it was federally protected, untouchable. Pete the surveyor just spat tobacco and said, "Son, anyone tries to mess with this land goes to federal prison. And those mineral rights? No one's touching them as long as you own the topsoil." Now, Brenda wasn't giving up. She filed for bankruptcy, $2.3 million in the hole. But she made a mistake. In forging her paperwork, she copied my signature on a half-dozen HOA documents. Real ink, not digital. A handwriting expert would eat it alive in court. So, I hit her with everything. Emergency injunction to stop the foreclosure. Submitted property valuations showing the true mineral wealth. Walked into court with boxes of evidence, embezzlement, forgeries, environmental protection, water rights, you name it. Judge Harrison didn't need long. Froze all HOA accounts, launched a forensic audit, and ordered a halt on every transaction. Brenda was finished. Her lawyer sweating bullets. Her shell companies exposed. Her criminal web coming apart, one thread at a time. When the news broke about her $847,000 in stolen HOA funds, faked consulting fees, phantom maintenance contracts, BMW purchase for the good of the community, the board scattered like pigeons. Turns out, she'd been laundering money through 17 companies in 3 countries, promising my mineral rights to cover a $12 million loan from folks you don't want to owe. Here's where it gets wild. Buried in my barn, behind a false panel, I found Samuel's safe. Combination, $72,396, the day we climbed Pikes Peak together. Inside, original homestead patent, mineral surveys from 1925, and the real HOA papers, proving our land never legally joined Shadow Creek. 30 years of bogus fees void. One clause let me dissolve the entire HOA. Every rule, every fee, every ounce of power, gone with a single filing. That's exactly what I did. With Lisa Rodriguez, my environmental lawyer, we walked into the Bureau of Land Management, filed the right forms, and unleashed a legal nuke. FBI, state AG, my legal team, everyone on deck. Operation Homestead Justice. Federal raids. Bank accounts frozen. Brenda's mansion seized. Her BMW stickered by the feds. News cameras rolling as victims lined up with lawsuits. Families holding up medals and flags, talking about how Brenda preyed on folks during cancer treatments, deployments, or just plain bad luck. Brenda's last stand was pure theater. Press conferences, fake police reports, break-ins on my property, even tried to poison my well, missed by 50 yards, dumped bleach in my fountain instead. Each stunt just gave me more ammo. The feds had all they needed. Phone taps, paper trails, recordings of her bribing county officials. By the end, she was trying to flee the country, caught at the airport with $500,000 in cash and a fake passport. 12 years federal prison. 8 co-conspirators, 2 to 8 years each. County officials lost jobs, pensions, voting rights. Shadow Creek HOA dissolved. My land restored, along with water rights, mineral rights, and a new future. 6 months on, we broke ground on a veterans rehabilitation center, right where Brenda wanted to pour condos. Money from her seized assets rebuilt our community, funded scholarships, legal aid, environmental protection. My wife Sarah and I adopted 2 foster kids, Tommy and Maria, both military orphans. We planted new oaks where the barn once stood, watched grizzly families come back, turned our story into hope for dozens of other neighborhoods. So what's the lesson? Sometimes justice is slow. Sometimes you gotta let the system work, even if it means spending a few sleepless nights hunting down documents and fighting off vultures. But if you stand your ground, know the law, and refuse to let bullies win, karma comes around. Not always quick, not always clean, but it comes. Now let me ask you, where's the line between standing up for your rights and going too far? If someone tried to steal your family's legacy, what would you do? Ever gone toe-to-toe with an HOA or some little dictator in pearls? Drop your story below. Let's see where you stand on justice, because out here, the fight's never over, and sometimes the quiet folks packing the facts are the ones who win it all.